Among the exhilaration surrounding the announcement of Audi's Formula One ambitions for 2026 and the first clear elements of the new project, Audi CEO Markus Duesmann has said that the firm is under a lot of pressure to be ready by 2026. He has not, however, given up on his ambition of becoming very competitive within 3 years of the team's F1 debut. Here's what we know so far. To begin, let's look at an overview on how Audi's target adds pressure to its new F project. Audi has an excellent track record and has been ultra successful in other disciplines, notably sports car racing, and it is a signature event, the Le Mans 24 Hours. It also invests heavily in tooling up to be a big hitter in F1. Audi does not do things by halves. Audi will be the first new engine manufacturer on the grid since Honda joined in 2015, and the first significant works team takeover since Renault bought Lotus ahead of the 2016 season. Both publicly set aggressive targets and failed to achieve them. They are not identical situations to Audi by any means. Renault at least had a regular F1 engine operation when it took over Team Enstone again, while Honda was playing catch-up at the start of brand new regulations. But there are warnings from both projects. It needs only look to Renault to see a shining example of the fact that taking over an existing team is a simpler process than starting a brand new one, but can still be arduous if the team requires significant investment. Renault's works team, now branded Alpine, finally scored the first victory of its comeback in last year's Hungarian Grand Prix, but is still part of the midfield furniture. It had to rebuild the Enstone operation, which fell to its knees when Lotus suffered a financial crisis. Sauber, Audi's still to be officially announced route onto the grid, is not in the same position, but wasn't far off only a few years ago. Following that, more specifics on the subject. It is still only a sporadic points finisher, with noticeable question marks over its development and validation capabilities, given the 2022 Alfa Romeo is unreliable and has faded in competitiveness as the season has progressed. And the scale of the engine challenge shouldn't be underestimated either. Honda took 5 seasons after a brutal period of public embarrassment to score a victory, and the expense of that project was so great when balanced against the drive to electrify within the automotive industry that Honda withdrew from F1 as an official participant last year, despite winning the Drivers' Championship with Red Bull and Max Verstappen, while Audi is entering under modified and less complex rules and has a longer lead time than the Honda program that was fast-tracked for 2015. It is still on the back foot compared to much more experienced opposition. Audi knows that instant victories are unlikely, and the project may take years to come to fruition if it ever does. Success is earned, never guaranteed. Furthermore, the new budget cap era of F1 is favorable for manufacturers that want to identify fixed cost for specific programs. Audi can realistically plot a long-term future while avoiding the financial black hole that has consumed many a boardroom-sensitive works team in the past. Now Audi's finally coming to F1, and the prospect of another strong manufacturer fighting at the front is realistic. But whether that'll happen 1 year, 3 years, 5 years, or even from the point of entry. Moving on, Mercedes' F1 team used biofuel to lower freight carbon emissions by 89%. Formula One isn't the most environmentally friendly corporation, but it's working hard to become one. F1 aims for zero carbon emissions by the decade's end, and engine manufacturers have been experimenting with sustainable fuels in recent years. F1 executives intend to utilize solely renewable fuels in F1 vehicles by 2026. However, race vehicles are only a minor part of the puzzle. Holding 24 Grand Prix across the world necessitates the movement of vehicles, components, and other materials between circuits, which increases carbon emissions. However, the Mercedes-AMG F1 team has experimented with a method to cut freight emissions. It used HVO 100 biofuel biofuel in 16 trucks as it transferred operations between Spa, Zandvoort, and Monza for the season's last 3 European Grand Prix. Mercedes didn't need air freight to move automobiles and components because those circuits were near one another. A total driving distance of around 1,400 kilometers provided the crew with an excellent chance to evaluate the biofuel, 870 miles. However, the team had to utilize diesel fuel for the last 20 kilometers, just over 12 miles, due to supply concerns. According to one study, utilizing HVO 100 lowered freight emissions by 89%. Overall, Mercedes avoided 44,091 kilograms, 97,204 pounds of CO2 emissions as compared to using only diesel for both travels. It was stated that HVO 100 is made from vegetable oils, waste oils, and fats, and is completely free of fossil fuels. Gasoline also emits less NOx and particulate matter. Following that, the Black Eyed Peas, TLC, and Suede will all play at F1 races in Singapore. The American pop rap group Black Eyed Peas, Australian rapper, singer, and songwriter The Kid Laroi, American girl group TLC, and British alternative band Suede will perform on this year's Formula One Singapore Airlines Singapore Grand Prix stage. They will perform with previously confirmed performers Marshmello, Westlife, and Green Day. The 3-day racing weekend, which will take place from September 30th to October 2nd, 2022, will also feature a mix of local and international acts. There will be almost 100 hours of entertainment in total, featuring 92 shows on 9 stages, 79 wandering performers, and a variety of art installations and activities. American indie pop band I Don't Know How, Swedish Gambian singer-songwriter Sanobo C, Kerala-based multilingual indie folk alternative band When Chai Met Toast, Malaysian reggae band Salam Music, and Israeli electronic music project Garden City Movement round out the international lineup. Singaporeans performing in the meanwhile include singer-songwriter Inch and hip-hop trio Iha Samek and Woven Sound, rapper Shiga Shay, dancers Scratch Marks, and music producer and DJ Wu Kong. Local artists such as 8-Eyed Spud, Adeline Liu of It Takes Balls, Hafi, Ko Dan, Li Wei Lia of Very Small Exhibition, and Paper Carpenter will also be featured in specially curated experience zones within the circuit park during the Singapore Grand Prix. All Singapore GP tickets include access to the on-track action and events and performances in Zone 4 of the circuit park. Each day, valid tickets will be required to enter the relevant zone. Next up, to prevent controversy, Formula One will utilize a VAR-style virtual control room. To put it mildly, the 2021 Formula One season finished in disarray, and the FIA is hopeful that technological advances will avoid repetition. As part of a series of reforms, Formula One is installing a virtual race control room, similar to the Video Assistant Referee (VAR) used in soccer. The backup will sit outside the track and utilize a real-time link with the race director to enforce laws using the latest sophisticated technology equipment. The move follows a contentious conclusion to the Abu Dhabi Grand Prix in December 2021. Lewis Hamilton dominated the race with 5 lapped cars sitting behind the safety car, preventing challenger Max Verstappen from legitimately challenging Hamilton's position. However, race director Michael Massey controversially decided to allow the trailing cars unlap themselves by overtaking the safety car, giving Verstappen a far easier time, threatening Hamilton's lead. Verstappen passed Hamilton running on worn tires to win the race, resulting in the Drivers' Championship. Hamilton's Mercedes team challenged Massey's decision, citing rules that require all cars to unlap themselves and for racing to continue the following lap rather than immediately. The team also claimed Verstappen's front wing briefly passed Hamilton as he was behind the safety car. Race officials denied the appeal. There is no certainty that the virtual control room will improve F1 rule enforcement. This, along with VAR, represents a shift in officiating methodology. Sports leagues tend to be less and less willing to depend exclusively on human judgment. Technology isn't replacing race directors or referees. Still, it may help guarantee their decisions stand up to scrutiny. Finally, the Formula One Canadian Grand Prix has been canceled for the second year in a row due to COVID-19. In 2021, there will be no Canadian Grand Prix. The Formula One race on June 13th was canceled for the second consecutive season due to the COVID-19 epidemic. F1 did not race in North America in 2020 due to the coronavirus and will not visit Canada in 2021 because public health experts believe the event would result in more COVID-19 infections. The Turkish Grand Prix will take its place, F1 said on Wednesday. Since 1978, the event has been staged in Montreal's Circuit Gilles Villeneuve. Lewis Hamilton won the 2019 Canadian Grand Prix after Sebastian Vettel incurred a 5-second penalty late in the race. The race was scheduled to be the 6th race on the Formula One calendar in 2021. For the second year in a row, the event in Turkey has been added to that race weekend as a substitute. Turkey had not staged an F1 race since 2011 until it was summoned in 2020 as part of F1's cobbled-together European-centric calendar. Formula One will still visit the Americas in the fall. The United States Grand Prix will be held on October 24th in Austin, Texas, followed by events in Mexico City and Sao Paulo, before the season concludes with races in Australia and the Middle East. The Portuguese Grand Prix kicks off the F1 season on Sunday. The season's first 2 races were divided between Hamilton and Max Verstappen. Well, that marks the end of our video for today. We hope you enjoyed it. On your way out, make sure to hit that subscribe button. Thanks for watching.